As one of the core reasons for forming a rebellion, the NRA/M coined itself as an organization fighting for democratization of the country following the allegedly rigged 1980 elections. Upon taking over Kampala in 1986, the National Resistance Movement continued posturing itself as a pro-people movement with a mission to rid the country of all the ills of the past regimes that President Yoweri Museveni described as swine. Even at swearing in, Museveni told the country that lack of democracy was a problem.
I, Yoweri Museveni, swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. So help me God.
Democracy was on their lips as they applauded the theory of leading based on the people's demands. 27 years later, opinions differ on the extent to which the regime has kept the promise.
Even the democracy we talk about, where is it? When you have a president for 27 years, where does it happen elsewhere in the world where there is democracy?
Elections are held regularly, presidential, parliamentary, and all other elections. Those who have grievances go to court.
Power has been personalized. In the government, the only power that we have, the only authority is the president. Many ministers in his cabinet complain that he does not consult him. Actually, many of them say, whom does the president consult? Because this matter is never discussed in the cabinet. If he wants support for it, he goes to a caucus. Then the caucus is silenced forever, never to discuss the matter, whether it is in the public interest or not.
The NRM as a party has tried to promote democracy, although of recent there are some tremors within the democratic process.
Some credit the establishment for organizing periodic elections where all with the necessary qualifications, regardless of political affiliation, had the chance to participate. The 1996, 2001, 2006 and 2011 elections were all held during the NRM reign. This, in addition to the highly rated local councils that started as national resistance councils. However, the elections have been described by critics as short of the benchmarks for a free and fair exercise. Allegations of vote rigging, intimidation, voter bribery, and unleveled political fields have been associated with these elections. The Electoral Commission has been dismissed as partisan by critics of the regime, as the army, police, and intelligence bodies, with a constitutional mandate of offering neutral services as well, have been cited in unleashing terror on opponents of the incumbent regime. Many election results in constituencies and local council elections have been overturned by the courts of law due to weaknesses of the Electoral Commission and proved incidences of bribery and voter intimidation, mostly by candidates backed by the ruling party. The biggest blow to the credibility of the electoral process was when the Constitutional Court agreed with FDC leader, retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, that the 2001 presidential elections were rigged, though they upheld President Yoweri Museveni's victory, as two justices agreed with the request to overturn the results. Parliamentary democracy under the NRM has as well been a subject of debate, as some applaud the establishment. Critics have always faulted the party leadership for manipulating its members of parliament to always toe the line of the executive, an assertion party loyalists strongly deny.
Unfortunately, either because of their fear and weaknesses, and because of the all-powerful executive, they now have been relegated. They are now more or less a rubber stamp for the executive. This is a very, very sad development for the democracy, freedom, and the rule of the law in this country.
I think the NRM government is the government which has listened to the people, has allowed everybody to speak. There's freedom of speech, there's the development taking place, and our people, I think, are moving on.
Many times, the executive has found itself in awkward situations caused by a standoff with parliament.
So anybody who says we kill unarmed people is an idiot. He's an idiot, he's a fool, he's despisable.
Those opposed to the decisions of the party leadership within its own ranks have earned themselves the tag of rebels as they condemn their own party for being intolerant to alternative views and disagree with trends in the country.
We have seen our president at the end of this term will be clocking 30 years in leadership. This person who doesn't get tired, who is he?
Like what they said, that amongst the reasons that may cause dismissal from the party was to say that I will never support President Museveni's bid in 2016. Let them bring their letter of dismissal tomorrow. And I can say I did not support it and I don't even support it now.
Pray to God and pray to Mr. Museveni, President Museveni, that he remembers where he came from and where he brought the movement from, he and the leadership of the movement and the people of the movement, and that the fury where people are punished, right, is not the fury of a parent towards a child.
Though the regime takes the credit for returning multi-party democracy, many have pointed accusing fingers at the manner in which those with alternative views have been treated. Brutal arrests, mistreatment and detention beyond the constitutional 48 hours are some of the situations those deemed opponents of the regime have been subjected to before being slapped with capital offenses that have most times been dismissed in court. A section of the population have also condemned the manner in which anti-government demonstrations have been handled by the police that has led to loss of lives and serious injuries. The besiege of the High Court by the Black Mamba Urban Hit Squad to re-arrest individuals granted bail by the courts brought into ridicule the democratic credentials of the NRM, forcing the judges to go on strike and prompting some of them to describe the situation as ruled by tear gas. As critics condemn the record of the NRM, insiders have consistently described themselves as the best government. Indeed, participation in the democratic process seems to have increased. But questions still abound on whether democracy is merely about voting. Proponents of democracy suggest basic elements for a democracy upon which any assessment should be based. These include control of the agenda, enlightened understanding, effective participation, and voting equality. Sabiti Joseph, WC Vision, Kampala, Uganda.